good morning from wherever you're listening to me from. It could be Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, the US, India, China, from wherever you're listening to me from. Thank you for taking this time to listen to me. I'm shouting out to all of you from Zambia, the beautiful mother Zambia. It's amazing here. You should take time to visit. We have beautiful nature, we have beautiful people, we have lovely things to offer, but then that's not the point. This week I just have this topic that I just felt it was time to really talk about this, and I'm calling this the principle of delayed gratification. So the first time that I heard this statement, I was a bit lost because I'm like, what is this man talking about? But then he got to emphasize about it. That is Reverend Chanda from Bread of Life in Dollar, and he had just emphasized, and he gave this scenario or a research that was done, I think, back in the US, and it was talking about how a few kids were actually taken into a room and they were given a small piece of cake each, and they were told that whoever was going to last at least 2-3 hours without eating their piece of cake was going to be given the whole cake. So the whole thing they had to do is ensure that no matter how much they wanted to gratify that desire of wanting to eat that cake, they wanted to test how they can hold on to that desire to ensure they get a bigger piece at the end of the day. So they put cameras and they watched these kids do different things in that room. They were locked up, remember? So he actually gave this scenarios, and he said some kids would get the cake and they would lick and put it back. Others would look at it and stare at it. They would go around it, they would jump over it, just whatever they could do to distract themselves from not eating it at that specific time. But then at the end of the day, they didn't eat. Others stayed for maybe an hour, and after some time they were like, you know what, I can't do this, and they would just eat. Others just at that instant were like, okay, I know I want the bigger piece, but right now there is this piece, I might as well just eat it right now, and they ate the piece. But then if you understand the lesson behind the research, you're going to realize that after some time they started to kind of like watch these kids, how they were growing up, the decisions they were making, and how they just managed their lives the whole time. And one thing they got to find out was all the kids that actually stayed without eating the cake actually turned out to be great people in life. They turned out achieving great things. They turned out having great assets. They ended up being great people. And the reason is because these kids had understood that there are certain desires that I would have in the moment that I could actually satisfy in the moment. But then if I look at the greater picture, what can I wait to be able to do later? And that's what I want to talk about today. Yes, we are young people. You might be listening to me and you're saying, Sheila, we're young, we should enjoy life. Trust me, I'm not saying we shouldn't. I love to enjoy my life, actually. But then the point is, there are certain things that you can hold on to and say. For example, I had wanted to go on a vacation some months ago, maybe even a year ago. Yeah, about a year ago, I would wanted to visit a place and just travel and just, enjoy my vacation there. But then every time I would look at my money, I would be like, you know what, if I go with this amount of money that I have, when I go for this trip, I'll be only able to afford one or two things. But if I can wait for a period of time and be able to save more, I'll be able to achieve more. So what I was doing is, as much as I would have that desire to go, I think I can go now. But when I sit down and I look at what's there, I'm like, you know what? I would rather enjoy later than enjoy now, because now I'll just enjoy a little. And that's what I want to challenge you today. What decisions are you making in the now that could affect what you could do later? What decisions are you making in the now that if you waited just a little longer, you could actually get a bigger chunk of it? And so I want to provoke you. I want to challenge you to change your mindset. Don't be an impact, like doing things on impulse. Don't be an instant buyer of things. Even just if it comes to business, there are certain businesses you could be like, you know what, you see something and you're like, I'm going to invest in this, it's good. But there are certain business risks that you have to sit down and say, okay, if I had invested this now, I'm only going to get a 5% out of it. But if I can save for 2 more months, I'll be able to get a 20% out of this if I'm able to do the same business. So I want you to look at your thought pattern. I want you to look at the decisions that you're making. I want you to look at everything that you're doing and be able to see, are you actually challenging the principle of delayed gratification, or are you actually gratifying your flesh? Are you actually gratifying your desires and saying, whatever I want to do, I'm going to do it now? Yes, you only live once. Do what you can do now. But always look at a bigger picture and see what you can do in the later. See what you can do a little bit later. See what you can push forward just so you could get a bigger chunk. I promise you, it's going to change your life. Us, the youth of nowadays, we want the microwave life. We want everything to happen now. I had asked somebody And there were these trees that were being sold, and these trees would take about 10 years to grow, and after 10 years they would make you so much money. And I spoke to someone, I'm like, hey, there are these trees that are on sale, not for a large amount of money, just a reasonable amount that I knew this person could afford. And the person was like, I don't know if I want to do the business. I mean, 10 years is a bit far and whatnot. And you get to see that that's the reason most of us would give. We don't want to invest in things that are lasting time. We want to invest in things that are happening now. But what we don't realize is some of the things that actually last time, once they're done, they actually get you a larger piece of whatever you are looking for. So I encourage you today, try to look around your life, see if you are gratifying your desires instantly, or if you have the capability to actually have that principle of delayed gratification applied to your life. So I love you guys, and have a fruitful and wonderful week. God bless you.